Anyway, I would like just to let's go to the workshop today. Okay, today I will introduce to you this workshop. Now, this is a book, one of the best books that I have seen about misconception and clearing doubts and misconception. Okay. Okay, now, we're not going to, remember, I am not here to deal with the content. We are here to develop communication, cross-cultural communication, and leadership and competencies in as much as possible. But I'm introducing this book because it is very important to have this book and read it and continue reading it. So I have about 50 misconceptions here. What? 50 misconceptions. Now, the 50 misconceptions here, what we're going to be doing today is we are going to develop your communication through only choosing one misconception. So every table will choose one misconception, okay? But the way we tackle it is not for the sake of the misconception, it is for the sake of developing your cross-cultural communication to break the barrier. This is one thing. The other way is I want you to get used to this book and learn as much as possible from that book and have it handy with you all the time. Okay, so I've given you also another copy to be given to a non-Muslim. I prefer to be given it not to belittle this, but don't give it to the Indian community or the Filipino community because we are doing a great job with them when it comes to da'wah. Try to choose in your universities and hospitals, wherever, somebody who really needs this book from Westerners in general, and maybe Easterners, but I have to be very careful about saying that, and just choose one of your colleagues that you think, okay, deserves to be given that one. So you have one copy for you to go to a non-Muslim and give him this, but don't just go and give it to him. Now when we finish this interactive workshop, okay, and you start reading some of this misconception about it, okay, then later on you'll have some idea about it. At least try to introduce it in a way that fits the situation. Okay, so that's basically it. So this is for you. Just today we're going to have a sample of one misconception or 4 misconceptions, okay? But the way we're going to tackle it is going to be different, okay, to improve. And it will be exactly like the same thing. You see, I'm repeating okay a lot now. Right. Anyway.
So in language or different language?
Huh?
English language?
In English language, yes.
Can you call it different language?
I don't think, no, it's only, maybe it is being translated, I don't know. But I know that this is the only one that I know, but somebody told me there is, I think they are working on French maybe, or Spanish, I'm not sure. Okay, we are going to get into this workshop. This workshop is called what? Interactive. Clear your doubts about Islam, interactive workshop. Of course, everything I do comes under my program. And my program is called Effective Islamic English Cross-Cultural Communication Program. It is called EIECC program. This is the brand that is known all over. EIECC program. So everything I do here comes under this brand. Okay? And this is the brand, you find it here, even on the shirt. Now, why would I show this verse? I always show this. فَأَمَّا الزَّبَدُ فَيَذْهَبُ جُفَاءً وَأَمَّا مَا يَنْفَعُ النَّاسِ فَيَمْكُثُ فِي الْأَرْضِ. ليش أنا? Why do I show this ayah all the time? Why would I show this verse all the time?
We talk about Islamic, the basic.
Yesterday, remember what I was saying? What did I say yesterday? Yesterday I was talking about knowledge, skill, character building. True? In knowledge, for example, in education, we teach people how to learn English, صح? After high school, what happens to the books and the English? Disappears, صح? And the books are thrown in the garbage or something around the garbage. صح? صح ولا لا? What does this tell you? هذا الزبد راح. زبد. This is a zabad, صح? But what will benefit people is the competencies and the character building will stay in the ground, will stay in the earth. So if your training is right, and if your learning is right, it will stay, and you will see its manifestation all over. Okay, so it's very important to understand that you need to have its root. It is a structural change. It's not like any change. It's a structural training, not any training. It's a structural learning, meaning it goes deep into the root of that individual to change him. So it's very important to always remember this ayah, and I love repeating it several times because subhanAllah, the Quran has left for us nothing, that everything is there. Okay, so remember this ayah. فَأَمَّا الزَّبَدُ, يعني some people come with the flowery words, nice words, everything, لكن حقيقة they are hollow from inside, they have nothing. بس يتفلسف على كلمتين, but basically this person is nothing. Character wise, he's lousy, no ethics, no morality. Okay, corruption is so deep into him, but he can talk very nicely. And we have, of course, lots of examples. Hypocrites is an excellent example of that. They talk very nicely. You have a lot of hypocrites, صح? How many do we have? Anybody has done a statistics or survey? You don't need to do that. Even during your sleep, they will come to you. The hypocrites, صح? There are lots of them. And they are making a big mess in the world. So, this is, you see what we did yesterday. هذا طبعا I'm getting into philosophy, but it's very important. Now we will understand it much better than if I explained it yesterday. In learning, what did we do yesterday? I taught your feelings, صح? I taught your intellect. Your body was involved. We had continual learning. We had cultural learning, cross-cultural. We had recreational. We were funny. We were joking. We were enjoying it. صح ولا لا? We had what? Feeling learning. We had expressive. You were expressing learning. You see how many types of learning that is missed in schools and education and learning this day? This is part of my PhD, by the way, that stuff that you see. It's not just any junk, huh? So I'm talking about something that everything you've seen in this workshop is covered in this slide. We've taught your expression, how to express. We've taught your feeling. We've taught your recreational, your love for, entertainment. We've taught your, and if this is missed in education, higher education, or any education, it is doomed. The worst thing you could do in education, if this is not there. And this is, it is in a book called Learning is Being. يعني learning, كينونتك هو learning. Without learning, you are nothing. Okay? And one word in the Quran expresses all of this. And it starts, the first word that was revealed to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Read. Okay. And on this word read, you have to construct everything. So basically, learning is not just the IQ that you have, huh? And this is the worst thing that is happening. In all these big companies these days, they don't talk about people with high IQs, with tests, with kalam fadi. Nothing. This is junk. No. They talk about emotional intelligence mostly, which is, we have much better explanation for it. Hikmah. How can you really teach hikmah? It's more than that. So you have to make sure you tackle the person. Remember what I said yesterday? Holistic learning. Holistic learning. Learning is being. It is basically, it covers you all. لأن human being is مجهول, enigma, لغز. You cannot just teach his mind. He's not mind. So there is a spiritual learning, there is ethical learning, there is feeling learning, there is recreational learning. There are lots of these learning. So make sure whenever you do learning, whenever you teach, all of this are involved. If you don't do that, you're losing big deal. Okay? So I'm saying this because I've noticed many of you are teachers, English teachers, and in the future you're going to be faced with this. And you can make a big change if you this. By the way, I dealt with some of the people who were studying to be teachers. In the summer in Aramco, I designed a program. Till today, they remind me of it. Bifadlillah. They never forgot that time that they spent. It was just 6 weeks, but it was, they said it was a life-changing for us. يسمونه معهد في الصيف كانوا شباب اللغة الإنجليزية يجونا في السنة الرابعة والثانية حق كلية المعلمين اللي في الحسا. اي في الصيف حق المعلمين وغير المعلمين طبعا. بس كانوا يجونا هنا مجموعة من الشباب عدد جيد، مش من مسامي ابو خماس ومجموعة والله كان. بس it was really يعني for them they said it was one of the best experience because at that time we applied self-directed learning and we showed them a different way of learning. You see, and we had problems in Aramco ourselves because that program was not there anyway. I had to design it. I had to go through it and experience it and to pilot it, and it was a success story. Then I started building on it, and I was told by the Ministry of Education once to come there. They had a conference, Ministry of Education, وأرامكو رشحتني في I talk about this program to develop teachers here. And I gave it there, and Rumi, a guy called Rumi الوكيل حق التعليم، من اللي يعرف تعليمنا؟ دكتور نايف الرومي. He said, I deliberately came to listen to that talk. It was the last day, even though the last day in that conference was boring, nobody was there, and unfortunately they put the presentation late. But he came and he was very impressed by it, and he said, give me this PowerPoint presentation. I said, I'm ready to come and talk to the teachers about it. And we had a very nice, يعني الحمد لله, good feedback about it. طيب, let me just get quickly, I'm gonna move quickly here. This is the objective of this workshop, to improve communication in Islamic English course culture through what? Insightful understanding and reasonable clearing of some of the doubts. And this is the cafe style, and I always call this as a cafe style. The workshop, what we do, always cafe style workshop, which is very, يعني, you need to have etiquettes دائما في الورش العمل. لما تسوي ورش عمل, make sure you have these type of etiquettes, mannerism, okay? Refreshment provided, social atmosphere, open, effective interchange of ideas, improve communication, social brainstorms. There will be a brainstorming today, for example. Okay, productive work experience conducted in a much more relaxed environment, not tense environment, cross-cultural interface. And this is what we did. Now every table will have, we're going to have in every table today a facilitator and a knowledge manager. Knowledge manager, this is something new today. Or you can say a writer of all the information. So there will be a facilitator, leader, and a knowledge manager today. طبعا this is العادة الاتيكيتس الآن. We need to make sure we work together, okay, productively. We need to listen to each other all the time. These are just etiquettes that we need to be aware of. Allow the right to succeed. We need to make sure everybody succeeds. Yani it's not just me succeed, no. We need everybody succeed. We need to practice appreciation. If somebody does something good, say, it's very good. Thank you very much. Or else. طيب? No, or else this is just an add-on. Avoid put-downs. Avoid put-downs meaning what? لا يا أخي ما عندك سالف. يا مو بصح هذه. Put down. خله اللي يقول خله. Let him say it. تثبيط. Okay? Practice mutual respect. Okay? Silent, of course, mobiles. These are just etiquettes for the workshop. And now we get into this. I'm not going to go through this. This is a mess. That's a lot of kalam. But it's very important to read it later on. I can show you this. طيب. This is exactly what we're going to start. Okay, so we are now cruising all over the world. We are going to help the other people to understand where we stand, and cruising in the sea to explain the problem and the solution, okay, to basically what they always talk about. Okay, now I want every table here. First of all, make sure you have the flip chart. Remove everything, just have the flip chart there. Choose a leader, and I want you to choose a knowledge manager and a facilitator. Facilitator or a leader, or a knowledge manager. Yeah. Choose a knowledge manager and a facilitator of every table, and make sure the knowledge manager writes very well. The knowledge does this gauge stand for? There is a gauge here, and the gauge is telling you what is it that you are trying to be doing now. You are planning. You are now in the process of planning and you organize yourself. صح? Basically, you are organizing yourself now. This is a process here. So this is a competency. اللي I'm trying to build now. You need to build this relationship and plan. You plan and build relationship with your team. That's the idea يعني. Okay, so the gauge, this, when you see this gauge, it means it is a competency that we are trying to strengthen, improve. Okay, so you need to work on building good relationship and planning, good planning. Okay, so you have to plan now who is going to do what, all of this. This is coming also, and you will. Okay, so كل واحد عنده facilitator, knowledge manager. انتوا ثلاثة ما يصلح ثلاثة. أبغى واحد معاكم. وين الرابع؟ ها؟ طيب. This is a good place to plan. طيب. Okay, what I want you to do now, just warm up activity. What I want you to do is to introduce yourself to your team. Introduce yourself to your team. Of course, you already know each other. Answer this question. Mention some of the misconceptions. Just talk about some of the misconceptions that you think that are raised against us as Muslims. Without reading. Now, forget about the book now. The book will come a time that I will tackle it. I need you first to come up with something. I will come back to the book now. Okay. So just discuss now some of the misconceptions that you've been facing, that you hear all the time. Just discussing. You don't need to write them down. Just go ahead. About Islam. That you heard yesterday, for example, when we did the tour.
Yes.
Okay? Why do you wear abaya? That's it. Okay, some of these questions that are raised, some of these misconceptions. Just there are some, of course, there are other questions. What is your opinion of this approach of responding to misconception instead of presenting Islam? What is your opinion? This is just a question for discussion. Forget about the last one. Just concentrate on the first two in red. Discuss them. Excellent discussion. I was just watching you, mashallah. You're doing a great job. And the beauty of it, you were not using Arabic, which was really good. Okay. Now in this table, you mentioned how many, everybody mentioned as misconception, or it was just, huh? Let's listen to them here, please. Yes. This is part of the...
We have a shared knowledge about 8 misconceptions.
8 misconceptions. But you didn't go to the book, huh?
No.
Excellent. I don't want anybody to go to the book now. The book, I will come to it later on. Excellent. And if you just quickly, just tell me what them, just quick. Female, so you have jihad, you have what? Female? Just a minute. Okay, you said jihad, you said woman being dealt unjustly. What else?
Well, we've seen a lot of non-Muslims say, I can't drink, I can't use...
Okay, there is no freedom, they cannot drink. Okay, what else?
We don't see it in Islam.
Okay, so basically there is not that much entertainment for them, because their entertainment, of course, is different. Okay, what else?
About how terrorism.
Sure, terrorism, okay. Right to them, please, you guys.
We talked about polygamy. We talked about women's rights in Islam. We talked also about Islamic Sharia rulings like punishment and execution.
Okay, punishment, okay. But my question, you've heard this, because when I said discuss what is it that you heard, you might have somebody raised it. Huh? You heard these ones, صح? Somebody talked with you about them. So basically what I've heard, the same saga, as they say, the same story. Huh? Now the question, there is a question here nobody's tackled. What do you think about the approach of answering every misconception? Do you think this is the proper way of, like we have, Allah yarhama, Sheikh Ahmed Didat, Dr. Zakir Naik, some people, their approach is basically they go into misconception and they start to refute every misconception, and that's his style. Now, what do you think about this approach? Is this the right approach, or is this maybe we can use it sometime, we might not use it? What do you think about it? Because that's an issue that we always are faced with, and it's taking a lot of attention these days. Okay, and what are the pros, let me say, the positive things about it, and what are the negative things about it? Yes?
I think it's a good way, because we have to clarify something. but at the same time, we have to add something with it. Because
Okay.
if we just answer the misconceptions, they will come with other misconceptions. And
Beautiful, beautiful.
their thinking will be just
Beautiful.
give-
Excellent, excellent. So what you're saying is that, okay, it's an approach that we can use, it's positive, but the danger is that you might end up what? These people don't stop. They will always raise misconception. Now, if they start just raising misconception after misconception after misconception after misconception, like, is my job every time just to start answering this misconception? And by the way, is everybody fit to just answer every misconception? And is this our job to start answering every misconception?
What's the best way?
And what's the best way of answering every misconception? Now if I get trapped into this answer, because there are websites that their main job is basically what? Misconception and raising doubts about Islam. Now, are we supposed just to stay there for quite some time and trying just to concentrate on these people and start? I mean, is this the right approach? Now, we've said it. Yes, it's got a value somewhere. But now you have to be very careful. You have to be very careful because it might fit in certain situation, in certain context, in certain places, but it might not fit in other places. So you have to be very careful about utilizing all the time. Now, misconceptions will be raised and will not be stopped. And that's the time, since time immemorial. Okay, but when it comes to India or South Africa, when they started tackling it in this way, because they are minorities and they deal with a lot of encounters with missionaries on a high level, and they are being attacked sometimes. So the environment for the South African or in India, it's a bit different than the environment. So you have to be very careful. It doesn't mean you are not supposed to be using it, but you have to be careful because my main job is not just to start, refuting misconceptions. That's not the way to go. The main and the most important is to present Islam in as much as possible and clarify it to the people, and you tell them where you stand as a Muslim. Now that's very important to understand because you might get into an area that will take them from the main and the most important message of Islam, Tawheed. Okay? And we'll start answering here and there and we'll lose about the focus. And we'll be basically trapped in their own making because they want you to be trapped in this. So you have to be very careful. Now for me, as a Muslim, I'm supposed to present Islam. Now I don't want to be antagonizing anybody because that's not my job to antagonize anybody because they have antagonized themselves towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and His message. I don't want to add to their misery. I want to clarify and let them get off their misery by clarifying what Islam stands for in the best way. Remember what we said about how to become an Islamic exhibit on the move. You exhibit your best to the people, and that would make people really listen to you more. But if you start getting into the alleys and try to debate with them, one of the traps or one of the pitfalls that they say is that the more you get and you try to get into a lot of debates, the more you will antagonize them. Not only that, the more they will start coming back to you even though they were not even a practicing Christian, and they will start practice because they just to respond to you. This is another pitfall that we fall. But it has got the beauty of it is that never say this is wrong and this is right. Study the situation, respect every individual who does it, and know exactly why he is doing it, so that you understand the context and the story without belittling those people when they do it. Like you find some people sometimes, there's a sheikh, for example, he said no to debate, no to this. No, that's not the way to go. Either or this is white and this is black. No way. You have to be careful about it. They have their merit. It has got its merit. It was practiced with the great scholars, and books have been written about it. So you cannot just shoot it. It is there. But the best and the most important thing is basically you present Islam, but at the same time respect what the people are doing and respect their debates and their areas and their context without diminishing what they're doing or belittling what they're doing. This is the worst thing, that you belittle a person. As much as possible, say, MashaAllah, Sheikh Zakir, you listen to him because he helps you a lot. I've learned a lot from Sheikh Zakir, Sheikh Ahmed Didat, from Hajamal Badawi. They've taught me. Bilal Philip, I live with Bilal. Huh?
His accent. The problem is accent.
Who? I mean, that's a different matter. But in general, try to learn from everybody. Learn everybody, and everybody has got his strength somewhere. Never belittle or say something bad about these people when it comes to their style. He's got his style. Jamal Badawi, when he talks, wow, professional, scholarly, and you learn a lot from him. Some people might have their own ideas about other things, but that's not for me to discuss. Zakir has got his strength, mashallah, amazing mentality. But of course, as Hisham has mentioned, you have to be careful about his pronunciation about certain things. I mean, the man used to stutter, you know. He is a miracle by himself. Yani when he talks with you, you sit with him, he has a problem. He cannot, subhanallah, he stutters, يتلعثم. You know, you could feel it. Especially, and the less people with him, the more he stutters. Yani it's much better than before. It was worse before. The strange thing is that when he stands in front of people, there is no stuttering. It goes. You say, when you sit individually with them, the less people you are with him, subhanallah, you feel that this is not his area. He starts going back to his stuttering, but much better than before, of course. But when he stands in front of the more people, he starts coming back, and the stuttering is mitigated. I know طبعا Zakir personally, I didn't go to, but I sat with him several times. Bilal Philip, for example, I've known him for since we were in the university together, because he was studying at that time in Riyadh University. He was doing his master degree. I was doing my BA in English education, and I knew him at that time through an Afro-American family whom I used to go to and visit, because at that time I didn't care about school or university. I would just go and try to find my own culture, self-directed learning, in addition to my attending courses to improve my English. So I was a bad boy, يعني بس in a good way. طيب شلون تحلل هذه bad boy in a good way? It doesn't make sense. But anyway, I was good. لا يروح مخك بعيد يا حظي. طيب. But basically that was an Afro-American family. I had a deal with them to visit them, teach them Arabic, and to teach me English. When I was studying in Riyadh University at that time. That was an imam كان في Bloomington, Gary, Indiana.
What was your age?
At that time, I didn't have any age at that time. I was 19, I think 19, yeah. In Bahrain, طبعا I graduated from Bahrain. At that time, they didn't have 12 years. They had 11 years only. So alhamdulillah, when I graduated, I was 17 at that time. But it was, the beauty of it is that يعني at that time King Saud University كان يقطونك أو رياض University يقطك في التخصص إنجليزي لا في سنة تحضيرية ولا في شيء. That was really very difficult for us. We had to find our ways. So it wasn't like now. Now you have prepare, you have all of this. So by the time you go to the English major, alhamdulillah, at least you are solid. But before we had difficulty. We really suffered. Like we had, يعني you had to work hard to make sure that you succeed. You know, and so that is part of the trick that I did, is to find a family, because there are many families, by the way, Afro-American families, American families, Muslim there. So you have to find a family, and I had a bargain with them. Teach me, I teach you. Tit for tat, as they say. Okay, so it was really nice, and turned into, mashallah, a very good relationship. The man died now out of cancer, liver cancer. But mashallah, he really, he was like a father. So it's not like, so you could see my English now. It really, that was like the foundation that started building into it. That was building. Anyway, we finish now with the first exercise. Okay, Bilal Philip, that's a different story. I can tell you about Bilal later on. That's a different story. But this man, the American, he is the one who introduced me to Bilal. His name is Ali Abdul Malik. Alhamdulillah, Allah yarhamah. It's good to mention his name. عشان ندعو له هنا. Okay, now let's go to the second step now. Okay. The second step. Okay, I want you to choose from the book. Don't read about it now. لا تقرأ ولا شيء. Don't read any of them about the misconceptions. Go to the book. See the content. Choose only one misconception. طبعا usually I say choose two. And try to connect them that are similar. So choose only one misconception. choose only one misconception. So every table, you're supposed to be choosing one misconception now. You have to agree. Everybody, ya shabab, make sure you agree on the misconception. Don't just leave it to one person to decide. Okay? I can play with the time, no problem. Try to write as many answers as you can. Brainstorm it. Brainstorm means what? Every idea you put is right. Don't kill any idea. Don't discuss it. If I hear some people discussing, that means it's not brainstorming. Any idea you say it, the knowledge manager is supposed to organize the flip chart and write it down. Organize the flip chart. Okay? So and leave the other flip chart somewhere else. We'll use it somewhere else. Now, so every idea. So basically you will be putting as many answers to this misconceptions as you can without killing any idea. Just say the idea, the knowledge manager will write it, organize it very well. And make sure you organize your flip chart very well. Okay, because I could see handwriting, you need to work hard on your handwriting. Okay, right, start, go ahead, Bismillah. You have 20 minutes. La, don't use a book, ya shabab. Don't use a book.
Why does Islam keep the woman behind the hijab?
Okay, you've noticed now what we've done. I'm trying to exhaust you in as much as possible to get out of you as many answers as possible. That's one thing. Secondly, what we're trying to do is what? We're trying to get you, it will turn off. That's not a good one. Okay. Secondly, what we're trying to do is you add something, the other team adds to you, then another team comes and adds, and this is something called synergistic power, where everybody adds and we have a new thinking. Okay, it becomes much more original. Okay, the more you get more ideas, the more you try. It's not just the idea that comes your way, it's the thinking behind it. Because when you have a new idea, your mind starts thinking again. Okay, so you ignite and reignite, ignite and reignite, and you start adding and adding. Okay, till you try to foment a new thinking, deep thinking. Okay, so that's not just a matter of visiting only, it's a process, it's a very important process of learning together, but this tells you how powerful it is when you work together in the right way. Okay, so that is what we're doing. Now, the difficult part is coming. What I want you to do now, of course this is what you've been doing. Now, this is the last thing, or not the last one, each team should visit table by team. We've done this. A new team adds ideas to the notes. Now, this is the difficult part. You are back to your original table. I want you to do what now? You go to all the answers, and that's very difficult. This requires a lot of critical thinking, problem solving. Here you need to agree on something, a lot of discussion. This is where the real discussion comes now. It's a difficult part. So what I want you to do is to rethink. You go through all the points that you have and you try to prioritize them as to what is the most important answer and the best answer in your estimation. Okay? So you have how many answers now? I know you have about 30 answers for one misconception. You started, what, feeling bad. You didn't have too many answers. Now you have how many answers? Very close to 30 maybe? If you take the total answers. Now the difficult part, this is where your discussion comes. Okay, Shabab? Malik, okay, so listen, forget about the number. Just concentrate now on, you might, please, visit and revisit, please. Visit and revisit the answers. Merge between the ones that you find similar. And you need to discuss this. This is where discussion is. There's no brainstorming now. We finished with the brainstorm. There was team brainstorming. There was the whole workshop, the whole people brainstorming. Now comes the difficult part where you try to sift through. And you try to, as much as possible, get the best out of these answers. Then there will come another step where you will be merging this with the sample answers in the book where you have to go through what we did yesterday. That's the difficult part also, because it will take some time. Well, inshallah, we'll finish it. Start now, looking at all the answers, prioritize them, okay, based on the significance. Start, this is the difficult part, discussing. Here, I want to hear discussion. And by the way, listen, to make your job easy, to make your job easy, number them. Say this is Number one, the best answer. Number two, and you are required only to tell me 10 answers. Out of the 30, get the best 10 answers. Get the best 10 answers, okay? I just want to see the blue book in your hand now. Forget about it. Go to the misconception. Your misconception. Ya Shabab, remove everything that you have on the table. We are going to, now what are we going to be doing now? What do you think? You're going to read how? According to what we did yesterday, but quicker, of course, on your own. I'm not going to time you this time. Everybody times himself, but everybody is supposed to do what? To do every step. Like what we did yesterday. When we get time to the loud reading, you go away, put your 2 fingers, and in case you don't have 2 fingers, you remember? You can borrow mine. And if you don't have fingers, if the fingers are, I've run out of fingers, we have toes. Not toys. ايش toys؟ ألعاب انت. والله العظيم. حلوة دي. طيب. We'll bring you toys later on. طيب. Okay, let's go now to this. Go to, which page is it? Which misconception is it? You open the book. Open your book. Come on, you guys. Go to the misconception right away.
Already.
يلا شباب, go to the misconception right away. لا, let it go on. Don't read now. If I start, we need to start exactly the same time because I want to check the timing factor. Okay. 1. Come on, you guys. Where is the book? You need to read. Go to the page. Your misconception يا حظي. يا على أمي. 1 يا شباب. 1, we need to start. 2, you are going to do what? Look at this. What are we going to do? Okay. Okay. I'm putting the steps again for you. Okay. Go ahead. Start.